Hello, welcome to another episode of podcast Ms.Nhi. And today, as usual, I love to bring a guest around the world, especially people who willing to share their authenticity, their success, and important personal life lesson. I love to learn from different part of the world. Why? Because people learn so much about me, and now it's time for me to bring more people who are similar value, similar sharing that I admire so much. And today, our special guest is anh ơi. Excuse me for me to call him anh ơi because that's how Vietnamese we call each other. Cảm ơn anh đã đến với lại show ngày hôm nay. Let's share a little bit with our audience. Who are you and what you've been doing?
Thank you, Nhi. It's a pleasure to be invited. I'm happy to be here. About me, I don't know. My name is Tuan Lee. So the Vietnamese name, the Vietnamese way is Lê Anh Tuấn. I was born in Vietnam, 73. I came to the United States like early 2002. So it's like 21 years since. And I got 3 children. I got 2 marriages actually. So just so in case you guys are curious about it. The first one was a while ago, back like 24 years back when I actually divorced. And I've been living happily with my wife for more than 22 years now. I got 3 children, and what I'm doing is helping people's life, make their lives better. So that's what about me. I don't know.
Yeah, I love the introduction, guy. One of the things are very attractive to his video. By the way, if you guys Vietnamese and you can understand Vietnamese, which means Việt kiều like us, you guys can check it up his channel. Everything will be under the description below. So one of the things that is attract me the most in your channel, I have to honest Anton, is how willingness and authenticity you talk about how men feel about women, because that's what is the most lack in the market. I call market because like come from a traditional Vietnamese background, because I say I'm born and raised in Vietnam before I moved to Singapore. Yeah, it's like a lot of belief system that we have is make us stuck in certain relationship that we call toxic. Am I right to say that? So I'm just curious a bit. Yeah. When is the turning point for you to decide to do YouTube?
To do what I'm doing right now?
Yes. When is that then? What happened? Triggered you and you're like, let's start YouTube channel today because I want to help more Vietnamese women to know the truth about men.
I think the turning point was the action that I took was somewhere in September 2017, which is about almost 6 years ago. But the click was a couple of years prior to that. Because when I did my previous job, that I had a lot of opportunity to meet women and other men too. But the thing is, some of them started asking questions about their marriage lives and their love lives. And by answering those things casually in just a way that I think this is going to help you because I got some experience, But I realized that people keep pushing me toward that direction. How did you do that? And can you tell me a little bit more detail about how you do that? Why men think that way? So all of those questions kind of, pointing me toward like, what is this? There's either it's an opportunity that you can help more people, or this is some good value there that still need to be filled. So I realized there's maybe in a way we can see that we can add more meaning to our life by helping others, but at the same time, it's a market opportunity that looks like people need this. So if I can help them solve this problem, then maybe it's an opportunity for me. So by about 2017, that's when we decided to start. September 2017, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I love your YouTube channel, by the way. I think you're the first few YouTube, in our language, in Vietnamese language, that authentically talk about relationship and love and advice for women. What is a memorable moment for you in the journey of being a coach and help women to figure out they love life and go through the struggling in relationship, that the story impact you in the journey?
It's more like to answer your question, I think it's more like to tell the opposite. So if you take the opposite out, then the rest is the answer.
Mm,
A lot of moments that I that's stay with me, and it's so much, and it's so dense, so impactful that they all become one. The
yeah,
moment when people change, the moment when people realize what happiness is, um, how to get to that stage, the energy that shift in them. But there are times when um, pain, emotional pain, is so much that they get drowned into the ocean of pain, emotional pain, that they got so stuck that they couldn't see a way out, even though the way out was right there. So
yeah,
those actually created more impact on me than those that I actually shift the direction, to change the direction toward happiness. So what are the moments? I would say that's a long journey, and there's so many of them along the way that I don't even know when to tell you. It's all along the way, pretty much.
yeah. I will share you little bit, because I mean I'm similar. I've divorced before. I haven't find a lucky like you. Maybe now I need to be a private, learn from you how to find the next guy that will last 23 years like you and your lovely wife. I'm sure she's amazing woman. I would love to meet her one day. But I agree with you, the part you sharing, like when the person in the darker moment of their life, especially relationship, that the pain of emotionally draining and drowning us, and we, like you say, the exit is there. We saw the exit, but we don't want to go there, right? Because I think it's the Vietnamese. I think this is so. I don't know. This is the bad or the good thing about Vietnamese. That we so much devote for our family. Am I right to say that? You
I
know,
would
like it's
say
just after
I would
marriage, you
say that
just family. You sacrifice everything for your family. You know, in
I would say
general.
that's the nature of women in general, not just
Yeah,
Vietnamese women, but Vietnamese women, culturally speaking, we
yeah,
they are more fed with that notion, or that, I would say, cultural value,
yeah,
since we were little, because we normally, you guys witness the mothers, parents that do that, so it becomes
yeah,
some cultural value that embedded in you since you're little, and you grow up thinking
yeah,
that that's a standard, thinking that's something right. But the thing is, that is not wrong. That is so right. That's the nature of the
yeah.
women. But the thing is, that's not enough for a happy marriage. So
Yes,
devoting
yes,
your life to a family, or to your family, doesn't contradict with being happy yourself, or building your
yes,
happiness. It has nothing to do with that. But the thing is, people get too focused into that, so they left out all the good stuff about themselves, about their marriage life, about relationship, about other things in life. That's why
yeah,
sometimes they like so narrow focused and so stuck into that, and think that's a standard, and think that's the right thing, that's everything. If I do that right, I should be happy. Happiness should come with me because I'm good with my family. I devote my
yeah,
life and sacrifice my family, and that should be everything. No, that's just a small part of it. That's the
yeah,
thing.
yeah. It's let's add a little bit more about that, because I want to ask you more detail about what you just sharing. So is it impact after your first divorce that help you to aware of that, to contribute for you in the journey of be helping other as well? What do you think? Do you
I
think
think that's
like
it has a
yeah,
lot of value, because I can see the two. I can see the change in me in two different
hmm,
ways. I see the change in
which chain?
feeling, the change in thoughts, the way you look at things, and with all seriousness at the time, I realized that
Yeah,
was not the thing. Even though I didn't know what the right thing could be, but I
mm,
realized that the way that I approached life or love at the time was not right. It was not.
yeah,
It's not going to have a long, happy marriage life. So I realized that once I got to the point when I said, this is not right. I have to change. But really,
hmm,
at the time, there was not a lot of knowledge about that. I divorced in
yeah,
1995. so which is about
Wow.
24 years ago.
Yeah, so
So
long ago.
there was not a lot of knowledge about that at all at the time. We were
Yeah,
more about well, like 20. No, I was like 20, I don't know, 26, 24, 25.
yeah,
And that's not, I was 26 at the time. And we were so focused into getting a job, try to get a good job, try to live our life in a way that we pretty much got dragged in life, not knowing that there are other things too, happy marriage and all that stuff. And when I got divorced, that was painful. I mean, I cried for
yeah.
a month.
Oh, I can
And the
imagine.
lesson I learned, but I don't think that I learned a lesson at that moment, but a lesson came after
After.
that. Yeah.
Yes, I agree. Me
I
too.
started to digest
Because
that.
I think that's the moment with too much pain to even realize that's a
Yeah.
lesson. Like it's like
You
so
know
pain that
something was wrong. You know something
yeah,
was wrong. You know exactly what's wrong and
yeah,
what could have been, what we could have
yeah,
done differently in order to create a
yeah.
different outcome.
And this is so painful. So I get it. I'm there. So it's like, oh my God, it's so painful.
So
How do you pick yourself up?
I think we just did it because there was no other choice at the time. We got to live, right? Regardless of what
Yes.
happened, we still have to live. So I decided to change.
So painful.
Yeah, it was.
Did you
It
have
was.
kid in the
I did.
first relationship? Okay,
I
so
did.
that's even add on the pain.
No way. No
Me
way.
too.
Holy
Yeah.
crap. I was riding a bike on a street. I still remember it's a street in District 1. At the time,
Yeah.
there was not a lot of people. It's not as crowded as Saigon right now is. So
Mm.
I remember I stopped at the traffic light. And at the traffic lights, usually there are a lot of people. It's turned
Yes.
red, everybody stopped. And I was approaching it and I realized, oh man, I can't cry in front of so many people. So I slow
Oh.
down intentionally so people can stop there, and I slow it, slow enough that it turned green and people move, and I could continuously move instead of stay there and people observe me crying. So it was that moment was so impactful, and I still remember the moment.
Yes.
That
I know. Never forget about that. Okay.
yeah, you can,
Don't remove that. It is
and it did.
it is the moment of turning point, and it's beautiful one. I mean, by the way, guy, at this moment I will tell you guys why I'm saying that it's a beautiful moment, because first of all, for me, gentlemen have to first come from genuinely accepted that you are human, and it's nothing wrong if you feel pain and you have to release your pain. I feel sometimes I couldn't take it when I see guys with full of ego and like don't dare to face the reality of like some of emotional, because it's so important. Even with women, we want to be around with guy who willingly to be emotionally like sharing something, not everything, but at least some. So for me, it's beautiful to know like you're willing to share with our audience
Oh,
how
I
a
think
real
that's
man should be. I love it. I love it
I
actually.
I didn't realize that before, but I think that's a sign of strength, not a sign of weakness.
It
The people who
is.
who cannot accept that, who cannot see it as what it is, and they try to mask it with the personal strength, like, I'm not that
Yeah.
way, I'm good. You know, those are sign of
No.
weakness. That's what I think. I mean, I don't try to
Yeah.
offend other men,
Oh no, you're
but that's
right. You're right, and I mean you're right. I
that's
mean,
what
so
I think.
why
Yeah.
is that like for you? I mean, I have to admire that. I will tell you why, because you may say like, yeah, it's easy now after 23 years we share about how the divorce you have to go through, but if I never go through divorce, I will never be here to understand what you go through, to say that no one, whatever you go through is not easy for you at
No,
this moment, because you
totally.
go through so much, you
Yeah.
recover, you heal. Sometimes you forget that moment of pain, but I'm same like you. I still remember the night that I come back from work, I'm so exhausted, and I saw the email come through my phone that my husband was lying to me that he going to work, but he actually booked the hotel, and the hotel go to, because the laptop we share together, that informed that he will have a holiday with the affair, and my daughter is just 1 year plus, and this is not first time affair. This is the third time I catch it, and it's just a day of me in the dark night of I like crying, and I'm a foreigner mom in a foreigner country, and I was like, what should I do right now? It's so much shame, it's so
Mhm.
much hurt, it's so much disappointed. Like even you cannot call your husband because he in the aeroplane right now. Take off and go see the affair, right? And I told you at that moment, same like your story, maybe a slightly different, but I will cry until I don't even remember how many hours of the clock that I'm being crying. But that's the only hour I have a chance to cry, because at the moment my daughter wake up, which is morning, I have to look ready for her.
I
I have
understand
to
that.
look like I will do anything in this world right now to make sure you're alive and safe, and it's a lot of like you say, strength for you to fight all this period in life, then you can beat through that, right? So let's get there another little bit more. So how long was that for you to find your lovely wife? And how do you know that again she the one? And I'm sure you have to go through a lot of fear to make a decision to commit it again, right?
I got married in early 2002. When did I meet her?
Yeah.
I would say after the dark time that I met her in like a dancing club, like a traditional.
Oh,
It was a
yeah.
school, not a club. Basically, we went there to learn how to dance, and we
Oh,
it
so
was an exercise.
cute.
Yeah, so that's how we got to know each other. And soon after that, I realized that um, it's a very strange but awesome,
Mhm,
intense, so
mhm.
valuable, so much. Well, right now I can explain it in a more scientific way, but at the time I just enjoyed that feeling,
Yeah,
and that was love. And that's how we got to know each other, and that's how we came to be husband and wife, men and wife,
oh,
husband and wife. That's what happened. But the story that you just shared about you is what I would say that's part of what I do pretty much every day, listening to story like that or getting to know story like that, because the people who come to me are
yeah,
those that on my programs are those
yeah,
it's most of them are situation like that, most of
yeah,
them. So I totally
yeah,
understand that feeling. I understand why and how it happened, and of course there's solution. Yeah, but
yeah.
yeah, that's how I got to know my wife. I
Oh,
love
so how was I'm sure she support you for this journey, and behind every successful man definitely is an awesome woman. And again, like I say, so how was that for you to raise kid together with, consider we call that mixed family, right? For you, because it's a new family and it with a different background. And because I will ask you, I will tell you why I ask this kind of question. I want to beat away of all belief that people say after divorce your life cannot be better, or after you move to the next chapter your kid will go through problem and all this. Because doesn't mean like I promote people should divorce. I was similar like you, that I want to give advice to people that yes, you should be as best as possible in relationship and for yourself, but and it's not when it's not working and you are completely broken and destroyed, it's time for solution, right? So that's why I'm asked this question, because I want people to know more about how do you deal with it, because people will like, yeah, you share this so much, so how about you, so that's why I want to know how do you deal with it when you build new family. What do you have scientific, like, because we learn, right? We learn psychology, we know this is science, this is not something like drop from sky. That we make it up for you guys to listen. So how was that for you when you build a new
what you
family?
what you just said is actually true in both way, and I'm going to explain why shortly. The Give you an example. When you do something, whatever you want to do, like you practice doing something new,
Yeah.
and let's say you fail. Fail is just like a temporary term that we call something that we can't get it right at the first time, for example. And what
Yes.
happens after that? You redo it, right? You
Yeah.
keep doing it. And naturally, the more you do, the better you do it. That's called practice. You do it, and
Yes.
you fall, and you stand up, you learn about it, you learn from the fall, and
Yeah.
then you do it again and again until you get better or good at it. But when it comes to relationship or love life, this is a thing.
Yeah.
People think that every time you fall and you stand back up and you get worse, and that is true too. Why is it? But why don't you become better at getting married or at relationship? Why do you get worse? Either way is true. But the thing is, why do you get worse? Because the belief system. Because
Yeah.
every time you fall, you actually have emotional pain. You
Mm.
actually redefine yourself at that moment. Basically, what happened is that you take all the negative stuff and put that in yourself, embed that in yourself, and redefine yourself and turn yourself into a worse version of yourself. And with that version, you don't believe in life anymore. You start losing your identity. You start losing
Yeah.
the good self, but you start building something in the opposite direction. You say, "Oh, I already got married. I have an ex-husband. I have a kid. Nobody's gonna want me
Mm.
because I'm older." So that's just the way people take things, and that's what it
Yeah.
called pain, emotional pain, and it changed the
Yeah.
version of themselves. The thing is,
Yeah.
for those that actually choose the opposite, it's a decision that they make. So if they fall, they stand up, and the difference is this: they heal themselves. They learn from
Mm.
the lesson. In neuroscience, that's what we call pain, emotional pain. And if you choose to learn, then you must heal from it. Because
Yeah.
only when you heal from the events, from those pain, that actually it becomes a lesson. So otherwise, it's a pain. It doesn't become a lesson. And it's a pain. It will be a part of who you are. And you carry those heavy pain with you. You bring the whole past with you, the painful past with you on your shoulder, and you walk in life with that weight dragging you back. Or instead, you can choose to heal and learn from it. And not many people do that though. It
Yeah.
takes a
Yeah.
lot of, you gotta be a person at a different level, a higher level of consciousness in order to see that I'm gonna learn from this. What do I draw
Yes.
from this? And if the person learn from it, he or she will lift themselves up. They lift themselves
Yes.
up to
And
become of more value. And that's when they
yes.
have wisdom. With that, they're gonna change and become a better person. They're gonna become
Yeah.
a better version of themselves. And that's how they attract happiness because who you are decides what you have. So if you
Yeah.
become better, you have better result. If you become worse, you lose, your belief in life. You lose all that good stuff, and then other things will come to you because you attract something you just deserve. So what I
Yeah.
want to say here is that you can choose either to learn it as a lesson and you heal from it, and then you become wiser, you have more wisdom. But
Yeah.
otherwise, you can choose to let it define you, that you become a different version, which is a worse version. And then
Yeah.
it defines you and your identity change and you become a person of despair, and you don't believe in life anymore. You think men are bad, you think women are so greedy. And then with that, you're not going to have happiness that way because happiness doesn't come that way. So it just
Yeah.
depends on how they take the event, how they process that pain, how they learn from it or not.
Lovely. Oh my God. Guy, whoever go through pain right now and you need help and support and advice, again, all the information under the description. Okay. You will love to talk to this lovely and wise man because he will give me so much advice, I think, wisdom, value that I think rarely can find right now in the authentic man, like I say. Another question for you, and oh my god, I have so much to ask you. And I feel time so fast right now. I still have a lot of things I'm asking. How do you deal with like young people's situation right now when it come to looking for help and advice from you? Especially love in this generation is very different. I'm talking about way younger than you and me, 20 plus, when internet will affect a lot of relationship in the
Yeah.
way of like this. You get where I come from. What advice you would give to the young generation right now, and what's the problem you see that it can be early stage to prevent so they don't end up in the wrong marriage or wrong relationship?
Um, it's a big question, and there's a
Yeah.
lot of ingredients in
Yeah.
that question that we need to go through all of them in order to give them like a complete. I mean, answer in full, but we can basically say this, that nothing wrong with the way they use internet, or I mean the society right now. We came from a different time, and that's why at the
Yeah.
time not social media, there's not all of those culture shift. I don't say that that culture are different. It's the same, but it just evolved with technology and the way people think, the way people define love at different time. So for those people who are at their early 20s or maybe late 20s, that you guys are born in a different time than we were, um, you come to love in a very intuitive way, just like we did too. But we also came to our love life intuitively. We just love and think this is, hey, my feeling is authentic. It must be good
Yeah.
that I love somebody, and that's I should be happy. The thing is, love at an early stage, like when you are in your late teen, like 18, 19, or early 20s, I think, philosophically speaking, it's a lesson. It's not meant to be a result. Well, that
Mm.
doesn't mean that you don't have happiness. You still have it. And that doesn't mean you have to go through painful divorce. No. Just like everything. If you learn how to ride bicycle, remember the first time you ride the bicycle,
Yeah.
you fell.
You can't. Yes. You
You
have
get
to
your
fail.
normal bruise, right? So
Yeah.
it's
Bruise everywhere. Bleeding everywhere.
but that's just so for our love life, it's the same. It's a stage where you actually experience love, that you start learning about what it is. But the thing is, at the time, you think you were really real and you have your own definition of love, but you always believe that you are a good person, and you are. The thing is, love has its own stages too. When you start, that's how you're going to feel. And then you came to life, you came to love, you were so authentic, so naive. I'm not saying in a negative way. You're so naive, thinking life, this is life, and I love somebody that's so good and I'm going to enjoy it, not knowing that this is going to be a lesson to be learned.
Yeah.
But what I'm trying to prepare you is this: learn from those. It's not meant to be a long term happiness. It may not be the best thing you're going to have, but you're going to fall and get your knees bruised, which is okay. The thing is, stand up, learn from it.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
encourage you guys to learn. Love is a science.
I
For
agree.
us, human, it's a gift. It's also a tool to live a happy life. It's a gift,
Yes.
it's a tool. And if you understand about all this, it's called science. Science is
Yes.
just a way to learn things. So if you understand how love works, with all the neurotransmitter, with all the thought, with all those, neuron connections, with all
Yes.
of those feeling how it's created, then you
Yeah.
see it's actually very straightforward. It's like math. One
Yeah.
plus one equal two. It's just like math. It's very predictable. You can see what happened and you see the logic in it. But for those who don't have that knowledge yet, you're gonna feel clueless. And the thing is, when once love breaks, when the relationship breaks, you're gonna feel painful and you're stuck in that feeling. Okay?
Yeah.
And when you're stuck in that feeling, it will redefine you and you become a different
Yeah.
person. And be careful with that. The
Yeah.
lesson, the relationship that you break up from with somebody, turn it into a lesson.
Yes.
Learn from it. Ask yourself why. What you need to change to become a better version in love,
Yeah.
so you can deserve a better, happiness. So you can deserve
Yeah.
happiness. So the thing is, it must lead to you changing yourself. That's the
Mm.
only one direction in order
The
to be
key.
happy. Yeah, but the thing is,
Yeah.
most people think that changing yourself is changing about how to make more money, changing about how to become, a person of worthy, of higher worth in different aspects. I'm talking about love.
Yeah.
So I'm not talking about finance. I'm not talking about your career choices. I'm not talking
Mm.
about your spiritual life. I'm not talking about your social life. I'm talking about love. So only in that narrow aspect of life, how do you get better? How do you become better? How do you become to work more? I mean, to be more in life. So if
Yeah.
you lead your conclusion to that, that means you're gonna change yourself. You become a better person. Like if a man become a better man in terms of love to
Yes.
attract better women, to attract a more value women, and also for women. If you become more, then you attract better men, more successful men, men that are more quality, men of
Yes.
higher value. So that's
Yes.
you must get there. If you don't get there, but instead when you fall and then you stay there and thinking life is not fair, I'm getting hurt. He just betrayed me. He didn't keep his promise. You stay there. That means you're getting worse. You actually turn
Yeah.
yourself into a different person. That's not going to worth happy. That's not going to be worth happiness. So what I'm saying here is, whatever happened to you, learn it as a lesson, and then change yourself to become better. And by then, who
Yeah.
you are decides what you have. You're gonna get more in life, in your love
Yes.
life.
I love what you just add on because I think this is very valuable for young people because you talk about personal value and bring yourself up so you can attract the person as same level as you.
Yeah,
So it's the same. Level here doesn't mean like how much money more you make or
that's
how
true.
much success in life you have. But love is like I love your
It's the
example
same
as well
thing.
because it's like bicycle. Like you just have to fall. You just have to love more. You just have to completely get heartbroken but don't forget to pick yourself up. I think that's the key that we have to keep repeated that don't forget to pick yourself up because nobody is going to do that for you, right? Like nobody going to go there and tell you, oh, don't be heartbroken. We can
They
say that one
can't do
two
it,
day,
basically. They
but
cannot do
no,
it.
but yeah, you can't do it for you. Like we can emotionally support, mentally support, give some time to be the shoulder and listen to the person. But guy, if you want to go through this life successfully, listen to anh Tuấn just say, right? Okay, just love, for, pick yourself up, find your
Learn,
value,
yeah,
learn from it, and move on and love better. Right?
yeah.
Love is
Better
the
yourself.
sign. Yeah, better and a lover. Yes. Oh my God, I love that. Better and a lover. Everything can learn in
Yeah, you
life.
have to. That's how we
Yeah.
grow.
Yes, that's how we grow. I want to ask more about the men side of story because I'm curious right now. I'm sure you get a lot of hate because you teach women, especially for men. How was that? And how was you deal with that? I'm sorry. I'm curious about that right now.
Man
I'm
is
sure you get the thing of deal with social media, I got it.
meaning that the man build a house
Yeah.
and the women build the home. I just roughly
Yes.
translate that into
Yeah,
into
yeah,
English.
yeah, yeah. Who Vietnamese,
So
you know what is that?
yeah, so building a house meaning you provide things that are more of material.
Yeah.
Like you build a fence, you build a house, the actual physical house, car, money. So I'm not saying that's all men do. Men should do more than that, but that's the main focus. And they are built to do that. They were created to do that with muscles, with neurotransmitter, with the testosterone, with all
Yeah.
the stuff that built in order to build houses. It's meant to
Family.
build a home. So in order to build a home, we're talking about feelings inside the house. We're talking about the emotion inside a house. And women were created with all the tools to do that. That's how women are very sensitive when it comes to feelings. They see what happened.
Yeah.
And the men like, what? Oh, I don't see anything. And the woman saying, no, 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 no. That's what she means. I can see that. So the women are very sensitive to that. And that's their tools to do that. Okay. So this is the thing. A man came to life. The creator man, pretty simple. You, the man will have kind of two demands. I mean, there are more, but I'm saying in love. Okay. The man will have two demands. The first demand that everybody know is he has a sexual demand. And the sexual demand is satisfied by a woman, by women. And that's already is in the hardware, not software. You cannot reprogram this. This is already defined out of being a man. The second thing is they have a need. I mean, the first need is sexual need. The second need is the need for love. It's being a
Yeah.
human. So man is a human. So he needs love. And all his life he's looking for those. All his life. He doesn't know who's the one he's gonna love. He doesn't know. He just wants to be happy. And when God created him, you know, that way. And you come to him and say, hey, you want happiness, right? Man say, yeah, I want love. I want to be happy. You know, why don't you love a woman? Why don't you just love her? This is the answer. I want to, but I don't know how. And I cannot decide that. All I can decide
Yeah,
is
that's a
this.
good one.
Yeah, all I can decide is this. If I look at her and I feel that I love her, and that is it. This is the problem. Don't forget that he got needs for sex too, and that drives him. And he also has need for love, and they are not one. They are separated.
Oh my God,
And
that's
since
a
need,
difficult thing.
that's the thing.
Because you say women don't know this part. Thanks.
Yeah, women
And
don't know
I
this
didn't
part.
know.
Women
Yeah,
is
and
more
they
like
always
this.
confused about that, right? So that's
For women, they
beautiful thing that
only
you
can
have heard from men.
for women they only can have sex. The need for sex is behind the need for love. They only can have an intimate relationship with somebody that they trust, that they love,
Yes.
that they have the
Yes.
feeling that is enough. I can trust this man, right? But the man, I don't need to trust you to have sex with you because that's a need that is separated from love.
Yeah.
And then since the need is there and is constant, is every day, so whatever women that come to his life, he's going to approach. This is the problem, though. Women don't know that. And when he got the sexual relationship with a woman before he's committed,
The love. Mm.
before he actually scientifically speaking, okay, then that feeling of love is gonna fade. Only
Oh.
when he already fall into a state of being a state a state where he is committed, okay, and it can be explained with neurotransmitter, okay, it can be explained with neuroscience. At that state, there's a big difference. It's a huge shift in him. So what I'm saying is, a man come to love life, driven by two needs, and he chased women for those reasons, for those two needs. But he does looking for love. But if he find a girl attractive, and he really has a feeling for her, and he really want to be happy with her, he comes to her, approaching her. But if the woman, with all the tools, emotion, the tool to actually shape the emotion to create the home in the house. But if the
Mm.
woman doesn't use her tool correctly, so she will have a she the way that she uses her tool has three in three respect. The first one is what she talk, the content of whatever comes from her mouth. The second thing is the emotion, the attitude that is embedded in what she say and how she say. And the third thing is the action. The only three things: what she say, how or her attitude, and then her action. There's only three ways that a woman, interact with a man or with whoever in this life. Okay,
Yeah.
and if she doesn't use her tools correctly, or
Yeah.
if she's aware at all of her tools or not, some women don't even know that they have that because they never
Yeah.
learn, they never actually learn about that. So if she just intuitively react or get into the relationship, or basically she got all the emotional pain from previous relationship, remember, that she didn't learn from, that she has a different identity. Now she bring
That's
that
a
into
good
a
one.
relationship like a person with pain here, with pain there, with judgment, with need. She will
With
turn into,
negative, with toxic.
yeah, very,
Yeah.
I'm so needy. I need a man in my life. I need a man that is faithful to me. I'm so painful. My life sucks. And you know what? The man's like, honey, you look so beautiful. I come to you, but there's something wrong in my feeling. When I looked at you, you look so beautiful. But I come to you and I realize that's not what I'm looking for because all I do is looking for love. The thing is, you are the one that decide the quality of the relationship, not me. Wherever you lead me, I will follow you. If you are a woman of high value, I'm going to be on my knees and I'm going to just
Yeah.
grow myself to deserve you. I will grow myself to be better in order to deserve you because you are of high value. So that's when the men, become better and they grow and they get to personal development and they become better in order to be worth that woman. But the thing is, most women, they fail before they hurt themselves and they turn into a different. They bring the value down, and then with
Yeah.
that with that in them, they introduce themselves in a relationship in a way that feeling fade, and then all
Yeah.
the sexual relationship happen, and then all the pain between them, the fight, the differences that they say, oh, we were so different in the way we think. We are different in education. We come from different background. We don't fit. Well, everybody, nobody fit. You can't
Yeah, no.
statistically find somebody that fit. The thing is, love will fit. The thing
Yeah.
is, the women actually the one that got all the tools. And man is this, I don't know. I built a house. I'm just looking for somebody that I love. Please, just let me love you. You know, that's all he said.
Yes, I agree with you.
But the thing is,
You know,
that's what I'm
you know,
saying.
it's so beautiful. You explaining it's so simple, but a lot of people don't understand that it's just that simple because
That's
we
right.
make things complicated sometimes. So I'm with your
Me too.
side, okay? I'm with your side because in my other channel, I'm the same. Sometimes I go, and people ask me certain question. I'm like, it's so clear answer that the guy is very basic and you make things complicated, right? Guy is simple, like you say, they looking for love, they looking for
That's what we
peace,
do.
right? Am I right to use the word peace? Like, you don't
We
want to
all
go
want.
back home with a crazy woman, like you're going to enter the house and she's going to throw something on you or she's going to say something that hurt you, and she's going to feel annoyed of everything that you're doing, right? You don't want to live with that woman, and that's all they're looking for. And guy looking for love, like you say. And by the way, lady and gentlemen, especially for all the lady, this come from a man, and that's why I bring him to the show. Because if I'm a woman say it not enough, now another man tell you, that would be fair, right? Like, so you don't look, because I feel it's different when women give advice to women and men give advice to women. It's a different, like same. When I have guy friend ask my advice for certain thing, I can see the different perspective because I understand woman. He don't clearly. Like I agree with you. Like you say, some guy they just don't know how to show love. They love the woman, they just don't know how. Nobody teach them how and what they can do and how they can provide that. Do you feel like men nowadays start improve themselves as well, that they're willing to learn all this stuff and reaching out to you to get approach on that, or still in the negative side? How was your experience in terms of that, especially with
Men,
Asian men?
when it
We
comes to
Vietnamese, so I will talk about Asian men right now.
when
Because
it
I feel
comes
Vietnamese is still traditional somehow.
when it comes to men in a relationship, especially on the early stage, the flirting stage,
Yeah,
man is driven 99% by the women, by the woman.
yeah, I
He
agree.
it's basically like two people in a car, and the woman is the
Yeah,
one that drives, not the man.
yeah,
But the man has to have the feeling at the beginning, and that feeling is a feeling of attraction. The feeling that feeling is very strong. The thing is, the woman just have to choose. The woman
yeah,
have to filter out those that actually have a feeling, or he just come because of his sexual need. And man has a sexual need, as I said, so they approach pretty much all the women that they think there's a chance that they can mate, which is
no.
pretty bad to say it that way, but that's true, and that happens all the time. But the thing is, it's very easy. It's so
Yeah,
easy to see that if a woman
yeah,
is of high value. If you are so balanced in life, you see that right away. It's so clear on his face that he comes to you. You can see, hey, do you have an authentic feeling for me? Do you actually have a feeling of love for me? If a woman, is balanced in life, if she's not, like getting so much pain and sensitive, and her needs for love is not, outrageously wrong, or she got hurt so much that the need just becomes so amplified that she's like, I don't care who you are, I love everybody that come to me. No, that's not good. Okay. But if the woman has a certain level of balance, she realized that this man loved me, has a feeling for me or not. It's so clear. You can see it on its face actually.
yeah,
And then she filter out those that actually doesn't have the right feeling. And those that do have the feeling, that she can start accepting the relationship. But the thing is, in that early stage, the woman is the one that drives everything. The woman is the one
mm,
that decides the quality of that once the man has the feeling already. So there's a science about it. But for men, this is a thing. All they can do is their career, because the relationship needs a house.
yes, I'm
So that's
agree
what
with
they
you.
do. So they have to focus into making money. They have to focus into more of a a visible part of a relationship. like a house, like a car, like a neighbor, like the fence, like what we put food on the table, send the kid to school. So we need, to money there. So the trash can need to be brought outside, those are stuff for guy. If the roof has a hole on it, I'm gonna take care of it. Okay. If the neighbor come to the house and try to create a problem, I'm gonna come there and deal with it. But that's what the men do. So the man can only focus most of his energy into that, and he's built for that. But when it's
Yeah.
come to the feeling inside that relationship, inside that's a woman. So that's what I mean is for men, what they can do, yes, that's the main part they can do. Can they contribute to building the home? Yes, he can too. But at the very beginning, the stage where they actually filter out, select, and choose, there's not a lot to do inside a relationship. They are just start forming a relationship. So at the time, the woman say, "You have the responsibility to build love for me and to build love in you." The man say, "Honey, we are just starting to see if we can fit." And in this
Yeah.
part, very short part, it should last longer than 2 years. It can be 6 months, it can be a year, and that's long enough for the man to fall in love with a woman. Okay, so in this stage, we don't have a committed relationship yet. I'm still choosing. I'm still looking for somebody that I can love, and so do you. And because of
Yeah.
that, there's not a lot of things to build in there. But the main
Yeah.
reason that a man comes to a woman, when he comes to a woman, is because he got the initial feeling for her, a strong feeling for her. Okay, and she got to filter out those junk ones. You just want some
Yeah.
sexual shit. You don't really have to. But I'm saying it's only when a man has a strong feeling for a woman that he calls love. It's actually not love. Okay, it's created by different neurotransmitters. It's a very short
Mm.
term neurotransmitter. But if that woman actually is a woman of high worth, then the man will, that feeling is developed and is shifted into a different feeling, a more stable and long lasting feeling. We call it forward love. Okay, so in that stage, it's 99% of women, will lead the relationship. But when they get to a marriage stage, that's when they both gonna build both. But men still more on building a house, and the woman is still more on building a home, regardless of what they
Mm.
do, because that's how
Yeah.
they are created for. So I'm not
Yeah.
saying that the man won't contribute into building a home. The man still do that, but his main focus, his main task, is building a house. Woman too.
Yes.
Certain part of life, certain stages of life where life doesn't happen the way we expect all the time. So some stages in life where the woman, I have to take care of the house too. I got to go to work and contribute to the, to our family. But still, the main focus of a woman is the home, the feeling inside that home, the warmth inside that home. So that's how men comes to love. It's pretty easy and simple.
Yeah, it's easy to say, but from a guy perspective. You see, that's a what gift that you just have after you go through so much and do what you do. And because you see, first you have to have knowledge, and second you have life experience, because you book it so detailed, so like explaining very clearly, and it very visualize. Does that make sense to you? Like you make the
I
people
understand.
can understand it easier, so they can face the situation easier. Especially I I, I agree with you almost everything you say, because I mean we do almost similar job. I'm just different. Like I push women to be stronger. I don't believe in like you just say. I don't believe in women with low value. I don't look down on them, but I don't recommend it. Why I don't recommend it? Because I feel like one woman strong can live up 20 women in the room. Same, one man strong can live up 20 men up in the room. Some women so stubborn, they don't want to listen to men because simple, they think you men, you know nothing about women. So sometimes I feel my job as a woman is to let them know, like, some knowledge I have is come from men. All my mentor is men, by the way. They give me so much knowledge and wisdom, and I learn from them so much. So do I think a valued woman should first lift themselves up, and then allow men to educate them back in the respectful conversations, especially all these kind of conversations. That's why I'm agree with you, because you are right. women sometimes we are too emotional. I used to be, okay, I used to be. So I admit, when I was young, same like you say, naive, dumb, think everything is like pink color, like life is so pink. And
Men are the
when
same
like,
too.
yeah,
Men are,
and when you get slapped in the face, bruises everywhere, have no way to wake it up. And that's when I changed. And I changed so much that I have to leave everybody behind me to be who am I today. And I agree with you. It's a so painful decision, but you have to if you want to raise your value up so you can have a better life for yourself first before for your partner or for your kid or for your community, which is the bigger picture.
yeah,
Even for men, and I love what you share, and I want more and more people know the work you're doing, especially the good work you're already doing, most of Vietnamese, but I want more and more people, especially people in my community, people that been following me, especially young boy and men. I think you guys need to see it in the view from a man, because I always recommend, even the people that work with me, that is young boys sometimes and young gentlemen, I would tell them, no matter how much value I can teach you as a woman, I still highly recommend five strong men who are go through a lot and give you back as well, because they will give you very direct feedback and they will give you a very different perspective that I cannot give, because I don't have certain things that men have, right? So I want to ask more question. And by the way, you've been so amazing. I love all the answer you answer. You give me more than I expected, and you amazing, really amazing. I have so good time with you
glad
right
I can
now.
help.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we help people by doing this. So, what is your vision that you having with the journey that you have right now on helping more people, on the process of you doing this? What is the vision come up for you that you want to do more? Can you share that with the audience?
This is what it is. That's pretty much the law of the universe. Whatever is of high value, there won't be many that will achieve them. You see, successful people are not many in any
Yeah,
aspect of life. Any, if you look into any aspect, those good ones are not many, but the
yeah,
majority will have an average life
yes,
or whatever they are
mm.
into. So, with that in mind, what we do is to help those to achieve the most possible in their marriage life, in their love life. But that doesn't
I
mean you can
agree.
help. Why? Because they choose to be. There are people who they want it, but they don't do it, which is
Mm,
normal. We respect that, but we
mm.
have to be ready for those who want to change.
Yes,
So,
I love that.
in terms of what we see, I don't try and I don't think that everybody will change. There are those that do, there are those that don't.
Yeah,
And I don't expect them to change either because that's their own decision. And sometimes in their stage of life, they're not ready to change. They will later. But I always consider what I do is a seed. It's a seed that I plant there somewhere in their, in their soul, in their heart, in their knowledge. Maybe later in life, when that seed is get the better condition,
oh,
that is start to to grow, and that happens quite frequently in my life. As a matter of fact, last night before I went to bed, there's a lady that I talked maybe like 3 or 4 years ago, and at the time I said you should actually change. She refused for some reason, and she was in pain. Her husband was this and that, and she didn't believe in life or whatever. And last night she texted me. She said, what do you think I should do now? I want to change. And even though that's not an everyday thing, but it's
yeah,
pretty frequent. And I realized
yeah,
I'm glad to get to this stage and I know what happened. So I'm glad our conversation or whatever that we talked before now is start making an impact in you. And I
yeah,
think you should apply some knowledge first and know what to do. Get the energy, get the direction, get the knowledge of what to do and how to change yourself. And start from there. Heal yourself first. So, what I see in the future, if we look at it as what we can do, then there's a lot of people that need help there. Not a lot of people know how to, they are not even aware of the importance of
yeah,
love life. It impacts our life. It's like a pool, it's like a
yeah,
swimming pool. If a swimming pool is quiet, everything in there is quiet. But if it's wavy, then everything will move with it. So your
yeah,
love life, your relationship, your love, your marriage, It's going to impact all the other aspects of life. With that in mind, we can see that there are a lot of people that are going to need help, but there will be a lot of people that are not ready to change yet. So we accept that.
Mm.
But in terms
Yeah.
of market opportunity, there's still a lot of openings. Why? Because there's so many people that are not happy yet. There's so many.
Yes.
Will still be so many of that. But the thing is, what we do is we help those that are ready.
Yes. You know, it's just for an hour of like spend time with you. It's so much positivity, so much of powerful statement that you've been make that I'm sure my audience will learn so much from today, but also for me personally. I know you on YouTube as well, but for talking to person, you guys, he amazing. How much you've been really go through the conversation with him, really reflect a lot as well of what we're doing. One last question for you, and if you have one thing you tell yourself 5 years ago, which means today Tung talk to 5 years ago Tung, what the one thing you want to tell him?
5 years back,
Yes.
if I could turn back time, and in terms of career, in terms of what I do, I would actually start it earlier if I could. I mean, if I can turn back time to 5 years, I would say I should have done this even earlier than that. But the one answer that I want to give is that I would educate myself more on this subject and the related subject. And also, I would pay more attention in the change in technology, the shift in the way people interact, the way people learn things. I didn't pay attention much into those technology. Even though I was on YouTube and Facebook, but I didn't see the importance of it until much later. I missed the golden time of Facebook, 2018, 2019. I was pretty much like, oh, that's the way it is. We just give them value content, just, give them good knowledge. We authentically teach them, with all the knowledge they need to know. Didn't pay much attention into the business side of it. So I missed those golden times when you actually can grow really fast. But now Facebook and YouTube are so different. And now
Yeah.
TikTok and all the other things. And it's keep changing. And now AI, whatever it is. So every time there's something new in terms of technology, it can impact the way people learn. What we do is educating people. Being a coach, what you do is you coach people, you educate people, you give them good, valuable content and knowledge. So the social media or the way people learn is actually a medium of how we approach them. It's a tool that we can approach them through that. So I didn't pay attention much into that until much later when I realized that we should pay attention to that part too. So that's one thing I could have done differently back then, 5 years ago or 6 years ago. But the one thing that I also could have changed is I should educate myself more about how to help people live. Because I realized that when it comes to love life, it's not about only love. Because
Yeah.
love is built upon a version of a person. How much emotional pain they carry themselves. They should heal first. If
Yeah.
they're not balanced, they cannot build their love life on it. If they are
Yeah.
so in pain, they cannot be happy. So I realized that, if you want to teach them or to show them or to coach them, to show them how to live the marriage life happily, then you have to show them how they can be happy with themselves, by themselves, with themselves. And that is a totally different monster. So I should
Yeah.
have educated myself on that subject together with the subject of how they can live a happy marriage life or a love life. But because it's a lot about one person, about a person, before he or she can be happy. So it's
Yeah.
more onto the version of a person. So that's what I could have educated myself 5 years back. Right now, I'm still working on it. I'm still learning every day about this, and I realize it's a big picture. When it comes to
Yes.
changing a person, that's a whole universe to learn.
And thank you so much. I want to say, first of all, you're amazing man. You have a
Thank you.
beautiful heart, beautiful soul. And I will admit to you, I'm a Vietnamese that I have a very big dream of change more Vietnamese people to book in the map of the world. And that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. And I feel so much empowered to have a conversation with people who similar. The authenticity that you give to me, the love and the care and every sentence you share, it's just all about people and you want to help back people. That's just, I feel so touched about that. I would love to do more episode with you if you don't mind, because you have so much knowledge and wisdom that I believe it will pass back to the next generation. And by the way, you say 5 years ago you wish you can do better. That's how much humble you're sharing. But for me, if you never start 6 7 years ago, we will never have this fruitful conversation. Your channel will never blossom and help so many lives. And I wish you and your family more health and continue happy, can continue this smiling. You know, the world need more people like you. The world need more people who willing to share the truth behind of all the pain and all the knowledge. Be authenticity and be yourself. And you know, I love all the vibe you give me today, and thank you for take your time to be here on my show, to do this together with us to make the world a better place. Anything last sentence you want to tell to my audience before we get off on this
Well, be
stage?
happy, better yourself, and be happy because we can, because we are allowed to, simply because we live a life that we can decide the quality of it. So why not? And since we all can do it, so why not doing it? So I wish everybody, the knowledge, strength to change, to better yourself. Thank you for inviting me to this
Yeah.
conversation.
Thank you so much, Anh. And again, guys, all the information about Anh Tuan under the description. Don't forget to go to his channel, follow all the video he will share so much, teaching so much, like fruitful conversation there as well. All his social media as well. And if you guys like this conversation, please like, share, and subscribe. I will come back with you guys with more guests. And of course, I hope to see him again for another episode. If you guys request for that enough, we will bring him back again, okay? Thank you and see you guys again.
Thank
Bye.
you. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you for continue support my Ms.Nhi Podcast. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.